I knew the moment I heard my daughter scream that something inside me was going to break for good. My name is Genevieve. I am 33, and I work as a dental hygienist. I spend my days calming nervous strangers with soft voices and steady hands. But that Saturday afternoon, in my parents' backyard, I could not calm the one person who mattered most. It was my stepdad Frank's 60th birthday, and my mother insisted on a big outdoor party. She made it sound like a sweet family milestone. But I was the one who booked the caterer, printed the place cards, cleaned the patio, and even borrowed extra chairs from my neighbors. I did it because I wanted my little girl to have the kind of family memories I never had. My daughter Kala is 8. She is gentle in a way that makes you want to protect her from the entire world. She picked a white dress with tiny stitched flowers and twirled in our bathroom mirror that morning, asking me if Grandpa Frank would smile when he saw her. When we arrived, the backyard looked like a magazine spread. String lights, a balloon arch, a table lined with food. My mother was already in hostess mode, laughing too loudly, touching people's arms like she was collecting proof that she had friends. And then there was my sister Sloane. Sloane is 26 and calls herself a content creator, even though she has never held a steady job longer than a season. She floated through the party with her phone held up like a little altar, checking angles, adjusting her hair, whispering to herself as if her followers were physically standing beside her. I told myself, just get through the day. Let her play influencer. Let mom fawn over her. Just keep Kala close. But I made one mistake. I went into the kitchen to bring out the cake knife and plates. I was gone, maybe 2 minutes. I heard a swell of laughter outside. The kind that always has a sharp edge to it. The kind that makes your stomach tighten before you even know why. Then I heard Kala's voice. Not talking, not laughing, begging. I dropped everything and ran. Kala was backed against the garden trellis, eyes wide, shoulders hunched like she was trying to disappear into the vines. Sloane stood in front of her with that bright, performative grin. She had her phone up in one hand. And above the trellis, tied to a branch, was a plastic bucket hanging by a rope. I froze for a split second because my brain tried to convince me it was water. Or confetti, or something harmless. Kala shook her head fast. I could see her lips trembling. Sloane leaned closer and said louder for the crowd, "Come on, it is just for the video. You are being dramatic." My mother stood off to the side, smiling. Frank had a beer in his hand, relaxed like this was entertainment he deserved. A couple of cousins were already filming too, ready to catch the moment. I opened my mouth to shout, but Sloane pulled the rope. The bucket tipped. A thick, sticky slime poured down over my daughter's head and shoulders. It was bright red and glittery, heavy like syrup. It hit her face, her hair, soaked into the white fabric. The glitter clung instantly, like it had been designed to punish you. Kala screamed and dropped to her knees, clawing at her eyes. The crowd erupted. Not concern, not shock. Laughter. My mother laughed so hard she put her hand on her chest like she might choke. Frank chuckled, slow and pleased. Someone behind me said, "Oh my God, that is priceless." I did not think. I moved. I crossed the lawn in 3 steps and slapped Sloane's phone out of her hand. The device skidded across the patio stones and cracked against the leg of a metal chair. The sound was small compared to Kala's screaming, but Sloane reacted like I had shattered her spine. She shrieked, scooped up the phone, and stared at the broken screen with actual horror. "Are you insane? That was my new phone." I dropped beside Kala and used my own shirt to wipe the red slime from her eyes. Her skin was already turning blotchy from rubbing. Glitter stuck to her lashes. She was shaking. "It burns, Mommy, it burns." I wanted to stand up and do something violent, but my hands stayed gentle because my daughter was trembling under them. My mother's heels clicked toward us. She did not look at Kala, not once. She looked at me, and her face hardened, like I had embarrassed her at a restaurant. "You are ruining the party," she hissed. "It was a joke. Why do you always do this?" I stared at her, still kneeling. Kala's dress was ruined. Her hair was matted. She was sobbing into my shoulder, humiliated in front of every person who was supposed to love her. "Fun," I said, and my voice sounded strange even to me. She dumped something into my child's eyes. "It is washable," Sloane snapped. "Stop acting like I threw acid on her. I was literally live. You just cost me so many views." Frank finally spoke, slow and annoyed. "Genevieve, apologize to your sister. And you are paying for that phone. Do not start drama on my birthday." I looked around the circle of faces, waiting for one person to blink like they understood how wrong this was. No one did. Their expressions were not worried. They were irritated. Like my daughter's pain was an inconvenience. My mother crossed her arms. If you want to stay for cake, fix it. If you want to be invited for Christmas, fix it. I am done with your attitude. Calla pressed her face into my stomach, trying to hide. Her small shoulders shook. I could feel how tiny she felt in that moment. Like she was learning, in real time, that people can laugh while you suffer. My throat tightened. Fine, I said quietly. I will fix it. I stood, lifted Calla into my arms, and walked toward the side gate without looking back. Behind me, Sloane shouted that I owed her money. My mother called after me that I was ungrateful. Frank said loudly that Calla needed to toughen up if she was going to survive the real world. In the driveway, I buckled my daughter into her booster seat with hands that would not stop shaking. Sloane appeared on the porch, holding her cracked phone up again, filming with the front camera like the screen did not matter, only the story. She aimed it at me and started narrating, already smiling through her outrage. My sister just attacked me because she cannot take a joke. Look at her running away. Classic toxic mom behavior. I shut the car door hard enough to rattle the windows. Calla whispered, "Mommy, why did Grandma laugh?" I had no answer that would not break her. I drove to the nearest convenience store because I could not take her home like that. We went into the bathroom, and I spent what felt like forever trying to clean her up with wet paper towels and soap that smelled like cheap lemon. The red slime smeared, the glitter spread, and Calla's cheeks got raw from wiping. She stared at herself in the mirror like she did not recognize the girl looking back. "Did I do something bad?" she asked, voice small. "Why do they hate me?" My chest tightened so hard it hurt. "No, baby," I said. "No, you did nothing wrong. They are confused about what is funny." She blinked slowly, and her lashes sparkled with glitter no matter how much I wiped. Grandma thought it was funny that I was hurt. That sentence landed like a weight inside me, because it was not new. It was just the clearest version of what I had been swallowing my entire life. Back in the car, I drove with one hand gripping the steering wheel too hard. My phone kept buzzing in my purse. A text from my mother, "You embarrassed us. You will make this right." A text from Frank, "Venmo Sloane for the phone tonight." A text from Sloane, "If you do not pay, I am going to tell everyone you assaulted me. You are going viral, babe." I got home, ran a warm bath, and sat on the bathroom floor while Calla soaked. She played quietly with a plastic cup like she was trying to pretend the day never happened. But every time she blinked, I saw glitter caught in the corners of her eyes. When she finally fell asleep, exhausted from crying, I walked into my tiny living room and opened my phone. Sloane had already posted. Not the part where she dumped the slime. Not the part where Calla screamed. Only the moment my hand knocked the phone away. The angle made it look like I lunged at her for no reason. The caption painted me as unstable, jealous, violent. Comments poured in from strangers calling me crazy, calling me a Karen, saying I should be arrested. My cousins shared it with laughing reactions. My mother liked it within minutes. I felt my stomach drop, slow and nauseating. This was their favorite trick. If you react to cruelty, you become the problem. If you protect your child, you are dramatic. If you refuse to play along, you are the villain. The buzzing continued. My mother called. I stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. Then it rang again. And again. I did not answer. I did not have anything left to say without screaming. I walked to my cluttered desk, planning to shut off every account, to disappear before the internet mob swallowed me. I slid a pile of mail aside looking for my laptop charger, and a thick envelope thumped onto the floor. A bank envelope. Heavy. I frowned because it did not make sense. I had not applied for anything. I had not missed a payment. I had been careful, always careful, because I could not afford to fall apart. I picked it up, and my fingers went cold when I saw the property address printed near the corner. My mother's house. Frank's house. The house they bragged about at every holiday like it was proof they were better than everyone else. A memory surfaced, sharp and unwanted. 5 years ago, my mother cried at my kitchen table. Frank looked gray and panicked. They had made a bad investment. They were going to lose the house. They begged me because I was the only one with good credit, the only one responsible enough to save them. I remember signing papers while my mother squeezed my hand and promised me she would never treat me like an afterthought again. I remember believing her. My phone buzzed again, and this time it was a voicemail notification from my mother. I did not play it. I set the phone down, stared at the envelope, and felt something shift inside me. Not rage, not fear, something quieter, like a door clicking shut. Quick pause, this part is for me. Some nights I am editing and I want to quit, but then I see your comments and I keep going. Tap like, subscribe, and tell me where you are listening from. Okay, continuing. I opened the envelope with a slow tear. Inside were documents I had not looked at in years. Statements, notices, a copy of a lease. My hands started shaking again, but this time it did not feel like panic. It felt like my body recognized an exit before my brain fully caught up. I pulled open my file drawer, the one I never touched because it held old paperwork and old mistakes. I dug until my fingers hit a folder labeled with that same address. The house, their house, or what everyone thought was their house. I sat on the floor in the dim living room, papers spread around me, and started reading, line by line, date by date. My heartbeat got louder with every page, because right there, in black and white, was the one thing they never expected me to remember. And as I stared at the final paragraph, my phone lit up again with my mother calling, like she could sense the balance of power tipping. This time, I picked up. Hello. My voice came out steady, which surprised me, because my hands were still trembling over the paperwork on my living room floor. On the other end, my mother did not bother with a greeting. She went straight for the throat, the way she always did when she sensed I was weak. Genevieve, you are going to fix what you did. Sloan is hysterical. Frank is furious. People are messaging me, asking what is wrong with our family. I stared at the address printed on the bank documents. My name was on them, not hers, not Frank's. I said quietly, Calla had slime in her eyes and you laughed. There was a pause, just long enough for my mother to switch strategies. Do not start with that. It was harmless. You always take things too far. You slapped a phone out of your sister's hand in front of everyone. You humiliated us. You made Frank's birthday about you. About me, I repeated, almost tasting how ridiculous it was. Listen, she said, voice lowering into that syrupy tone that meant she was about to offer me a deal that was really a trap. Sloan is willing to take the video down. She can make it go away. She just needs you to do the right thing. And the right thing is, I asked, already knowing, a public apology, a real one. You are going to record a video tonight. You are going to say you lost control. You are going to say you were overwhelmed. You are going to say you are sorry for putting hands on her property. Then you are going to send her money. For the phone, for the disruption, for the emotional distress. I closed my eyes. My daughter's voice floated back to me, small and broken. Grandma thought it was funny that I was hurt. My mother kept talking, piling on pressure like she was stacking bricks around my chest. If you do that, we will smooth this over. We will let you come back around. Otherwise, Frank will call the police. And you can forget about holidays. Forget about being part of this family. Forget about anything we were going to leave you. There it was. The word she always used like a leash. Leave you. Inheritance. She loved that word because it made her feel powerful. Because it made me feel like I had to earn my place by accepting whatever they did to me. I looked down at the file folder in my lap. It was labeled with the house address in my own handwriting from years ago, back when I was still trying to believe I could buy love. Mom, I said, and my voice did not shake. You are not leaving me anything. Her breath hitched, offended. Excuse me, you heard me, and I am not recording anything. Her voice snapped back into its sharpest form. Then you are dead to us. Do you understand? You are choosing to destroy your family over a childish prank, over a little joke, over a dress. I thought of Calla's raw cheeks, the glitter stuck in her eyelashes, the way she curled inward like she wanted to fold herself out of existence. It was not a dress, I said. It was her dignity. It was her safety. My mother scoffed. You are so dramatic. Frank is done with you, Genevieve, and I am done cleaning up after you. If you do not send the money by morning, we will handle this our way. I waited. My heart was pounding, but not with fear, with clarity. Okay, I said. She paused, as if she expected me to beg. Okay, she repeated, suspicious. Okay, I said again, calm. Do what you need to do. And I ended the call. The silence afterward felt loud. My apartment hummed with the refrigerator and the distant city traffic, but inside my body, there was a new kind of quiet. Like the part of me that used to brace for impact had finally stopped flinching. My phone buzzed immediately. A text from Sloan. You have until 9 a.m. to pay or I swear I will ruin you. I know where you work. A text from Frank. Call me now. A text from my mother. You are making the biggest mistake of your life. I did not respond. I turned my phone face down like it was a cockroach. Then I leaned over the documents, reading like my life depended on it. Because in a way, it did. The house had been bought in my name 5 years ago, exactly the way I remembered. I had signed the mortgage. I had written the down payment check. I had been the one with steady pay stubs and clean credit. But what I had not remembered, what my exhausted younger self had never truly understood, was the structure the attorney set up. The house was owned by an LLC, not theirs, mine. At the time, the lawyer had said it would protect me if anything went wrong. I nodded like I understood. I just wanted the crying to stop. I just wanted my mother to look at me like I mattered for once. I found the operating agreement in the folder. Still crisp, still official, still binding. Sole member, Genevieve. Sole manager, Genevieve. I read that line twice, feeling heat rise behind my eyes, because it meant I was not just a name on a mortgage. I was the only person with legal authority over that property. Then I found the lease. It was not the sweet, casual, family formality my mother had always framed it as. It was detailed. It was strict. It had clauses I did not even remember agreeing to. No subleasing, no business use, no filming content for profit on the premises, no harassment or illegal activity that could bring police attention or public scandal onto the property. There it was, printed in plain language. If tenants engage in conduct that causes the landlord reputational harm or legal risk, landlord may terminate with immediate notice. My skin prickled. Sloan had built her entire identity around filming, and she had filmed that stunt on my property. Then she edited it to paint me as violent, encouraged strangers to attack me, and threatened my job. On paper, she had just lit a match in a room full of gasoline. I sat back on my couch and stared at the walls of my little apartment, the place I paid for while they played royalty in the big house I owned. A memory surfaced, one I had pushed down for years. It was the day I signed everything. My mother had hugged me like she never hugged me. She whispered, "You saved us. Now we owe you. Now we will finally respect you." And less than a month later, she had snapped at me in that kitchen, telling me not to tell anyone the house was in my name because it would be embarrassing for Frank. It would confuse people, she said. It would make them look bad. So I stayed quiet. I let them pretend. I let myself be erased. My chest tightened with a slow rage, but it was controlled. Focused, like a scalpel. I opened my laptop and searched for a landlord-tenant attorney in my county. My finger hovered over the call button. It was late, but I knew if I waited until morning, my mother and Frank would already be scheming. I picked a law office with good reviews and a clear specialty in eviction and harassment cases. I sent an email with one sentence that felt surreal to type. I need to remove tenants who are threatening me and using the property for social media harassment. I am the sole owner through an LLC. I have a lease with breach clauses. Then I attached the documents. Next, I opened Sloan's video again. I forced myself to watch it with a different brain. Not the wounded daughter brain, not the panicked single mom brain, but the brain I used at work when I had to focus on details. Like the way a tiny crack in a tooth could turn into an infection if you missed it. I noted the time stamp. I noted the background, the trellis, the patio stones, the hanging bucket. I noted the laughter. I noted my mother's voice, clear as day in the audio, saying I was ruining the party. I took screenshots, then I went into my own phone and pulled up the photos I had taken that morning of Kala in her dress, smiling in our bathroom mirror. I pulled up the pictures after the fact, her cheeks red, glitter stuck to her skin, eyes swollen. I saved everything into a folder and labeled it with the date. Proof. While I was doing that, another message popped up on my phone screen, even though I had it face down. The vibration rattled the coffee table. I picked it up, and my stomach went cold. Sloan had posted a second story, a follow-up. This one had my full name in text across the screen and the name of my dental office, tagged like she was proud. There were comments underneath saying things like, call her boss, report her, get her fired, teach her a lesson. My hands went numb. My career was not just a job. It was my stability. It was Kala's health insurance. It was rent, groceries, school supplies. And my sister had just handed my workplace to strangers like it was entertainment. I inhaled slowly through my nose and let the fear pass through me without letting it dry. Because the truth was, I was not outgunned anymore. They had always relied on one thing, my silence, my guilt, my belief that if I just endured enough, they would eventually love me the way I kept begging them to. But now I had a different kind of leverage. Quiet, legal, clean. I opened the lease again and read the breach section 3 times, making sure I understood every word. Then I stood, walked to the hallway closet, and pulled out a small box of keepsakes Kala and I kept on the top shelf. I did not need it for comfort. I needed it for something else. Inside were old birthday cards from my mother, the kind that always sounded like compliments but carried needles. Proud of you for being responsible. You always keep the family together. I found a letter my mother wrote when I bought the house, the one she insisted I keep. It was handwritten, emotional, full of promises. I scanned it with my phone and saved it too. Not because I believed it anymore, because it showed intent. It showed the timeline. It showed that this was never their house. By the time I finally looked at the clock, it was past 2 a.m. I should have been sleeping, but I felt more awake than I had in years. I walked into Kala's room, just to see her breathing, just to remind myself why I was about to do something that would make my mother call me names for the rest of my life. Kala was curled under her blanket with her stuffed bunny tucked under her chin. Her eyelashes still had a few specks of glitter, no matter how carefully I cleaned her. I knelt beside the bed and brushed a strand of hair off her forehead. I whispered, "I got you." Back in the living room, I did the one thing my mother never expected me to do. I called Frank. He answered on the first ring, voice rough and furious. "Finally, are you ready to apologize?" "No," I said. There was a stunned silence. I continued, and my tone stayed even. "Sloan tagged my workplace. If anyone calls my office, I will file harassment claims, and I will add it to the lease breach documentation." Frank laughed, but it sounded forced. "Lease? What are you talking about? That is our house." "No," I said. "It is not." His breathing changed, like he was suddenly paying attention. "I own it through the LLC. You are tenants, and you are in violation." He exploded. "Do not threaten me. You would not dare. Your mother will have a heart attack. She will fall apart. Is that what you want?" I pictured my mother's face, laughing while my child screamed. "I want my daughter safe," I said. "That is all." He started shouting again, but I was already done. "One more thing," I added. "I have screenshots of Sloane's posts, your threats, and the video audio. If you or she contact my job again, my attorney will handle it." "Attorney?" Frank sneered. "You cannot afford an attorney." I did not argue. I just let the silence answer for me. Then I hung up. My phone buzzed immediately after, like he threw it back to my mother. This time, I did not pick up. Instead, I opened the email I sent earlier and drafted another message to the attorney's office. "They are escalating. They have threatened my employment. Please advise on emergency termination and protective order options." I hit send, and for the first time all night, my eyes stung with tears. Not because I was scared, because I realized how long I had been living under their thumb, without realizing the thumb was only there, because I kept offering my neck. The sun was starting to lighten the edges of the window when I finally sat back down, exhausted but steady. My phone was silent for a few minutes. Then at 6:48 a.m., a new notification appeared. A message request on my social media from an account I did not recognize. It was a screenshot, a private group chat. The title at the top made my blood run cold. "Family plan." And the first line of the message, typed by my mother, said, "We need to hit her where it hurts. Today." My throat went dry as I stared at the screenshot. It was a private group chat with my mother, Frank, Sloan, and a few relatives I recognized by their profile pictures. My mother's message sat at the top like a command. "We need to hit her where it hurts. Today." Under it, Frank replied first, "Call her office. Make it sound official. Say she is unstable around patients." Then Sloan chimed in. "I can post another clip. I still have the beginning where Kala is in the background. I will say she is neglectful and violent. People will eat it up." My palms turned clammy. I could actually hear my mother's voice in my head, calm and certain, like she was ordering coffee instead of planning to sabotage her own daughter's life. Then another message from my mother appeared in the screenshot, and it made my stomach drop. "And if she keeps acting like this, we will call child services. We will say she is unfit. She needs consequences." For a moment, I felt like I was 8 again, sitting at the edge of my childhood bed while my mother listed all the ways I disappointed her, and I nodded, desperate to make it stop. But that moment passed because I heard Kala's small voice in my memory. Grandma thought it was funny that I was hurt. I set my phone down on the table and put both hands on the edge, like I needed to anchor myself to something solid. This was not just about a party anymore. This was about my daughter, and I could not let them touch her world the way they had touched mine. The message request that came with the screenshot was from my cousin's wife, Arden, a quiet woman who usually stayed out of family drama. Her note was short. "I am sorry. I did not know how bad it was until I saw this. I thought you should have it. Please protect yourself." My first instinct was to call her, to thank her, to cry into someone's kindness. But I did not. Not yet. I opened a new folder on my laptop and saved the screenshot like it was evidence in a trial, because that was exactly what it was. Then I did the hardest thing I have ever done. I called my boss. It was early enough that the office was still quiet. I stepped into my tiny kitchen so I would not wake Kala and dialed with fingers that wanted to shake. My boss answered groggily. "Genevieve, is everything okay?" I swallowed. I need to tell you something before it reaches you. My family is targeting me online. They posted a video that makes me look violent. Now they are planning to call the office with false complaints." There was a pause. Then quietly she said, "Send me what you have." I did. The video link, my screenshots, the group chat screenshot, the threats, everything. And for the first time since yesterday, I felt a crack of relief because my boss did not sound angry. She sounded concerned. "Thank you for telling me," she said. "We will handle any calls. You are safe here. And if you need to take today off, take it." The word safe almost made me collapse. I hung up and stared at the wall, breathing slowly until the panic stopped trying to take over. The next call came 30 minutes later. The attorney's office. A paralegal named Morgan spoke briskly, like she was used to people calling with chaos in their voices. "We reviewed your documents," she said. "You own the property. The lease terms are clear. The threats and harassment add urgency. We can draft an immediate termination notice and a demand to cease defamatory statements. You also have grounds to pursue a protective order if they threaten your employment or your child." My throat tightened. They just talked about calling child services. Silence on the line. Then Morgan's tone sharpened. "Save that screenshot. Do not respond to them. If they contact your workplace or your daughter's school, call us immediately. We can file for an emergency order." Emergency. The word sounded dramatic, but when I pictured my mother's cold eyes and Frank's simmering anger, it did not feel dramatic at all. It felt necessary. By late morning, Calla woke up and shuffled into the living room in her pajamas. Her hair still smelled faintly like glitter shampoo. She blinked sleepily and climbed into my lap like she was younger than 8 again. "Are we going to Grandma again?" she asked, hesitant, as if she was afraid of the answer. I kissed the top of her head. "No, baby, not for a long time." She did not argue. She just sighed and pressed her cheek into my shoulder, like her body had been holding tension all night and finally let it go. That was when I made my decision permanent. I took her to school myself, walked her to the door, and spoke to the front office staff in a voice that sounded calm, but felt like steel inside my ribs. "If anyone comes asking for Calla," I said, "or claiming to be family, you do not release her. You call me." Immediately. They nodded, professional and kind. I left my number twice. In the parking lot, my phone buzzed again. A new post from Sloan. It was a photo of her cracked phone screen with a caption that made my skin crawl. "Some people are so jealous they cannot stand seeing others shine." Under it, she tagged my office again. She was poking the wound on purpose, waiting for me to react so she could record the reaction. I did not give it to her. Instead, I forwarded it to Morgan, the paralegal, with one sentence. "She is escalating. She is targeting my workplace." Morgan replied within minutes. "Understood. We are filing." The rest of the day moved like a strange dream. I went to work, smiled at patients, cleaned teeth, made small talk about weekend plans. And underneath all of it, my heart beat with a steady rhythm that felt new. I was not pretending anymore. I was surviving them. At 3:12 p.m., my boss stepped into the sterilization room and handed me a sticky note. "Someone called and asked for you," she said quietly. "They said they were family. They tried to say you were dangerous and should be fired." My stomach twisted, but I kept my face still. "Did you tell them anything?" I asked. She shook her head. "I told them we do not discuss employees." Then I hung up. My eyes burned. "Thank you," I whispered. She touched my shoulder once, a quick firm squeeze. "Go home after your shift," she said. "Do not stay late. And Genevieve, I am proud of you for telling me." When I got home, a process server had already done his job. I listened to the voicemail from Frank, and his voice was no longer angry. It was panicked. "There is a man at the door with papers. What is this? What is notice to vacate? This is our home." The voicemail from my mother was worse. Raw screaming, the kind that scraped her throat. "You cannot do this to us. We are your parents. You owe us everything." Then came Sloane's message, and it made me laugh out loud. A sharp sound that startled me in my empty apartment. "You cannot kick me out. My studio is here. My brand deals are here. You are literally ruining my life." I sat at my desk and typed one message into a new group text that included all 3 of them. "All communication goes through my attorney. Do not contact my workplace, my child's school, or me. If you do, I will pursue a protective order." Then I blocked them. The next 2 weeks were a storm. My mother sent relatives to my door. Frank left notes on my car at work. Sloane posted vague videos about betrayal, about family members who want to see you fail, trying to bait strangers into attacking me. But each time she posted, Morgan documented it. Each time Frank threatened, Morgan filed. And the first time my mother actually called child services, the caseworker arrived to my apartment already knowing the truth. Because my attorney had preemptively submitted the screenshot of their plan, the lease documents, the harassment timeline, and Kala's school statement. The caseworker looked around my tidy little home, saw Kala's clean room, her homework on the table, her packed lunch in the fridge. She watched Kala walk up and hug me without hesitation, without fear. Then she sat across from me and said gently, "This report looks retaliatory." I nodded, and my voice did not crack. "It is," I said. "They are angry I set a boundary." The caseworker closed her notebook. "I am sorry you are dealing with this. We will document it as unfounded. If they keep using this system to harass you, it becomes a different kind of case." After she left, I stood in my living room and felt something loosen inside my chest. They had tried to weaponize my motherhood, and it had failed. The eviction date came fast. On the morning they were required to leave, I did not go to the house. I did not stand in the driveway. I did not give them my face to scream at. I went to a coffee shop near Kala's school and sat with my laptop, watching updates from the realtor I hired, a no-nonsense woman named Waverly who specialized in quick sales. "House is listed," she texted. "Investors already interested. Your timing is perfect for them." While I sipped coffee, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I did not answer. Then it buzzed again with another unknown number. I did not answer. My attorney called 30 minutes later. "They vacated," Morgan said. "Locks are changed. You are clear." Clear. The word landed like sunlight. That afternoon, I picked Kala up from school, and she climbed into the car with her backpack bouncing against her shoulders. She looked at me and smiled like she had been holding her own quiet bravery all month. "Are we going to the new house soon?" she asked. "Yes," I said, "soon." The sale closed 3 weeks later. I signed papers in a quiet office while my attorney watched, and when the funds hit my account, I did not feel greedy. I did not feel guilty. I felt free. I bought a townhouse in a different district, with a little fenced patio and a tree that threw shade in the afternoons. Kala chose her bedroom first. She ran from wall to wall like she could not believe the space belonged to us. That night, as we unpacked, my phone lit up with one final notification. A tag. Sloan had posted a video from a cramped rental apartment, the walls bare, lighting harsh, her voice strained. She talked about how people abandon you when you need them most, how some sisters are jealous, how some families are toxic. She tried to make herself the victim again. But this time, the comments were not what she expected. People asked why she was filming a child. People asked why she thought dumping slime was funny. Someone posted the original clip of Kala screaming, the one a guest must have recorded from the side, the one that showed everything. Sloan deleted the post within an hour. I did not comment. I did not celebrate online. I just turned off my phone, walked into Kala's room, and watched her sleep in her new bed, safe and clean and untouched by their cruelty. In the morning, Kala came downstairs in her pajamas and stood in the sunlight pouring through our new kitchen window. She looked at me and said, softly, "Grandma cannot laugh at me here, right?" I knelt, took her hands, and held her steady. "No, baby," I said. "Nobody gets to hurt you in our home." Then I opened the front door, inhaled the quiet air of a neighborhood where no one knew my mother's name, and I felt the last thread of guilt finally snap. They wanted a show, but all they got was silence and a locked door they could never open again.